The 1970s were a decade of bold experimentation, not just in fashion and music, but also in the foods we ate. Today, we're stepping back into that era to rediscover 7 iconic dishes that were once everywhere, but have since disappeared from our tables. Some were quirky, others downright strange, but they all define the taste of the 70s. Number 1, ham in a can. Ham in a can, commonly referred to as canned ham, was a staple in American households during the 1970s, serving as a symbol of both convenience and innovation in food preservation. The product itself consisted of processed ham, usually boneless, that was vacuum sealed in a can to preserve freshness for long periods without refrigeration. This made it an essential item, particularly for families on a budget or for those seeking a quick meal solution. Its long shelf life made it an attractive option for stockpiling, especially in times of economic uncertainty or during power outages. One of the key factors behind canned ham's popularity was its versatility. It could be used in a wide variety of dishes, from simple ham sandwiches to more elaborate meals such as baked ham glazed with honey or pineapple, or even diced and incorporated into casseroles, omelets, or salads. For busy homemakers, it offered the flexibility to prepare both everyday meals and dishes for special occasions, without much preparation time. Many people also found it easy to store, as it didn't require refrigeration until after opening, making it a practical choice for households with limited fridge space. Canned ham wasn't just a home kitchen staple. It was also popular for camping trips, military rations, and emergency preparedness kits, as its packaging was durable and portable. The texture of canned ham was often smoother than fresh ham, leading to a unique mouthfeel that some consumers either loved or disliked. Some brands would press the ham into a uniform shape, which sometimes led to criticisms about the artificial look and overly processed nature of the meat. Over time, as fresh meats became more accessible and consumer tastes shifted towards less processed foods, the popularity of canned ham began to decline. Additionally, concerns about the sodium content and preservatives in canned ham contributed to its fading appeal. The rise of fresh, affordable deli meats and the trend towards healthier eating made the once beloved canned ham seem outdated. Number 2, crêpe Suzette. Crêpe Suzette is a classic French dessert that rose to fame in the 1970s. Often served in high-end restaurants or at fancy dinner parties, the dish features thin, delicate crepes soaked in a rich, buttery orange sauce, flavored with zest and juice of oranges, often with a hint of Grand Marnier or orange liqueur to elevate the flavor. What truly set crêpe Suzette apart and made it an unforgettable experience was the dramatic flambé presentation. In many cases, waiters would pour a bit of alcohol, usually brandy or Grand Marnier, over the dish and set it ablaze right at the table, creating an unforgettable visual spectacle for guests. The origins of crêpe Suzette are disputed. Some stories claim that the dish was invented by a French chef for a young Prince of Wales, later King Edward VII, when he dined at the Café de Paris in Monte Carlo. According to legend, the chef accidentally set fire to the sauce and, to cover his mistake, called it crêpe Suzette, in honor of a lady dining with the prince. While this tale is charming, many historians believe that the dish existed in some form before this event, and its association with royalty likely contributed to its fame. What made crêpe Suzette such a popular dish in the 1970s was its theatrical nature and the sense of luxury it provided. The 70s was a time when dining out became more accessible to the middle class, and people craved experiences that felt extravagant. Flambé dishes fit the bill perfectly, as they combined great taste with a sense of drama and entertainment. For many, ordering crêpe Suzette wasn't just about dessert. It was about the excitement of watching the flames dance around the crepes as the rich aroma of caramelized oranges filled the air. The complexity of the dish's preparation also made it a status symbol for home cooks who wanted to impress their dinner guests. Though the ingredients were relatively simple, the skill required to achieve the perfect thin crepes, balance the sauce's sweetness, and execute a flawless flambé made it a challenging but rewarding dessert to attempt at home. This added to its allure, as mastering crêpe Suzette was seen as a sign of culinary prowess. However, as dining trends shifted towards lighter and simpler dishes in the 1980s and beyond, crepe Suzette gradually fell out of favor. The flambé process, though visually impressive, was considered unnecessary and even pretentious by some, particularly as health-conscious diners began to prefer desserts that were less rich and buttery. In today's culinary world, crepe Suzette is still prepared in some fine dining establishments, but it is far less common than during its heyday. Number 3, mock apple pie. Mock apple pie is a unique dessert that gained popularity during times of economic hardship, such as the Great Depression, and was later revived in the 1970s. What makes it intriguing is that this pie contains no apples at all. Instead, Ritz crackers are used to mimic the texture of apples, and a clever combination of sugar, cinnamon, and lemon juice provides the tart, sweet flavor profile that closely resembles the taste of a traditional apple pie. The pie became especially popular in regions where apples were either scarce or expensive, particularly in rural areas. Housewives and bakers needed to find inventive ways to create familiar comfort foods using pantry staples. Ritz crackers, which were inexpensive and readily available, became the perfect stand-in for apples. When baked, these crackers softened, but maintained a texture similar to that of stewed apples, allowing the illusion to work. A crucial element in the mock apple pie recipe is the syrup, made from water, sugar, and lemon juice. This mixture was essential to replicate the sweetness and acidity of real apples. The syrup coated the Ritz crackers, soaking them and transforming them into the apple filling. Cinnamon and nutmeg added familiar apple pie spices, which helped to further convince eaters they were biting into a traditional apple dessert. The crust was usually made from a typical pie dough, either homemade or store-bought, which contributed to the overall pie aesthetic. Mock apple pie became a culinary symbol of resourcefulness and ingenuity, as it allowed families to enjoy the taste of apple pie without access to fresh produce. It was often served at family gatherings or community potlucks, where it sparked conversations for its clever use of crackers. Though mock apple pie may sound unusual to modern eaters, it reflects a time when creativity in the kitchen was necessary for survival. Today, it's considered a nostalgic dish, occasionally revived for fun or to showcase the ingenuity of past generations. The pie not only highlights how food scarcity shaped American cuisine, but it also demonstrates how even the most unexpected ingredients can create beloved dishes. Number 4. Tuna noodle casserole. Tuna noodle casserole was a practical response to the economic realities of mid-century America, combining cheap, shelf-stable ingredients with minimal preparation. It rose to prominence during a time when convenience foods were becoming increasingly popular, particularly in the post-World War II era, when families sought out quick, budget-friendly meals. The foundation of the dish, canned tuna, was seen as an affordable protein source that could be easily stored in the pantry for long periods, unlike fresh meats or seafood that required refrigeration. One of the reasons for its wide adoption was the influence of food manufacturers and advertising campaigns promoting canned goods and processed foods. Companies like Campbell's pushed condensed soups as versatile kitchen staples, marketing them as the base for many family dinners. Cream of mushroom soup, in particular, became the signature ingredient for tuna noodle casserole, acting as both the sauce and the flavor enhancer for the dish. The casserole's appeal wasn't just in its taste, but in how easy it was for housewives to put together a meal that was considered modern and resourceful at the time. The casserole was often baked in a large dish, which made it a great option for serving families or for events where feeding many people on a budget was key. Its ability to feed a crowd with minimal cost and effort made it especially popular in church socials, community events, and even school cafeterias. The dish also held well as leftovers, which increased its value in homes, where wasting food was not an option. Toppings varied by region and family tradition. Some used crushed saltine crackers, while others preferred cornflakes or even crumbled Ritz crackers. Each variation added its own crunchy texture to contrast the creaminess of the noodles and sauce. Families often adapted the recipe further by adding frozen peas, carrots, or mushrooms, making the casserole a way to sneak vegetables into meals without protest from children. In some cases, grated cheese was mixed into the casserole, adding a rich layer of flavor that enhanced its creamy base. Tuna noodle casserole was also a practical option for families living in areas without access to fresh fish or seafood. This was especially relevant for people in the Midwest or rural areas where canned fish was the primary way to get protein from the sea. Canned tuna's long shelf life and relatively low cost meant that it became a standard grocery item for those who didn't live near coastal areas, further embedding the dish in the American culinary landscape. The popularity of this dish was also tied to cultural norms around homemaking during the mid-20th century. Women were expected to manage households efficiently while adhering to strict budgets, and tuna noodle casserole became a symbol of domestic competence. It allowed women to prepare a hot, filling meal that could be completed quickly while still meeting the nutritional needs of the family, a reflection of the era's emphasis on convenience and efficiency in the kitchen. Number 5. Space food sticks, fuel for a new era. Space food sticks were a product born out of the excitement surrounding space exploration in the 1960s and 1970s. Originally developed by NASA in collaboration with the Pillsbury Company, these small cylindrical snacks were designed to be consumed by astronauts during space missions. Their compact size, long shelf life, and nutritional value made them ideal for zero-gravity environments where traditional food options were impractical. Space food sticks were created to deliver energy and sustenance in a format that wouldn't crumble, float away, or spoil in space conditions. The public's fascination with space travel was at an all-time high during this era, especially following the Apollo moon landings. Pillsbury capitalized on this space fever by bringing a version of these astronaut snacks to supermarket shelves. The commercial version of space food sticks hit the market in the late 1960s and became widely popular throughout the 1970s. The product was marketed as an energy snack, similar to how we think of protein bars today, but with the futuristic appeal of being astronaut food. Space food sticks were available in several flavors, including chocolate, peanut butter, caramel, and even mint. Each stick was individually wrapped, making it easy for kids and adults alike to enjoy the novelty of eating something that astronauts might have taken to space. The texture of the sticks was chewy and dense, and they were packed with calories, designed to provide quick energy to those who consumed them, whether they were astronauts or school children. Their appeal wasn't just nutritional, but symbolic. Space food sticks represented progress, innovation, and the future of food. They were often marketed to children, tapping into their dreams of space exploration and making them feel like part of the space race. TV ads emphasized the association with astronauts and space missions, helping to cement their place as a cultural phenomenon during the 1970s. However, by the late 1970s, as the space race excitement waned and consumer tastes shifted, the demand for space food sticks began to decline. Their nutritional profile, which was high in sugars and calories, became less appealing as health-conscious trends took hold in the 1980s. The product eventually disappeared from store shelves, although it continues to be remembered fondly by those who grew up with them. In many ways, space food sticks were an early precursor to the modern energy bar, combining convenience, portability, and nutrition in a compact form. Number 6, Pepsi and milk. Pepsi and milk, an unconventional beverage combination, became a quirky part of American pop culture in the 1970s, largely due to the hit TV show Laverne and Shirley. The character Laverne DeFazio, played by Penny Marshall, frequently drank the mix on the show, which led to its brief rise in popularity among fans. The drink is exactly what it sounds like, a blend of cola, typically Pepsi, and milk, poured together in equal parts. Despite its unusual pairing, the mix has a surprising cult following, with some even claiming it to be a refreshing alternative to traditional soda or milk-based drinks. The combination works due to the contrast between the creamy texture of milk and the fizzy, sweet sharpness of Pepsi. When mixed, the cola lightens the milk's richness, while the milk tempers the sweetness of the soda, creating a frothy, almost float-like texture. While it may sound odd to the modern palate, it was seen as a fun, harmless experiment for fans of the show who wanted to emulate Laverne's quirky habits. For some, the drink also recalls a similar childhood treat, root beer floats, where ice cream is combined with soda to create a creamy, bubbly dessert beverage. While Pepsi and milk never quite made it into the mainstream beverage market, it retained a unique place in pop culture history. For a short time, some curious viewers and die-hard fans of the show tried it, and it became a novelty drink that represented the offbeat and carefree spirit of the era. The drink's quirky appeal also made it a conversation piece, something fun and unusual that people could try at parties or share as an inside joke from the show. The popularity of the combination waned after Laverne and Shirley ended, but it remains a nostalgic memory for fans of 1970s television. In recent years, social media and YouTube challenges have revived Pepsi and milk as a retro trend, with some people giving it a try for the novelty or to understand why it was such a key part of Laverne's on-screen persona. Whether loved or loathed, Pepsi and milk stands as one of the more bizarre beverage trends to have emerged from television history, with its flavor and appeal still debated today. Number 7. Chiffon margarine. Chiffon margarine was introduced in the 1950s and became a significant household product in the 1960s and 1970s, at a time when margarine was being marketed as a healthier and more economical alternative to butter. The rise of chiffon margarine can be credited to its smooth texture and rich, buttery taste, which set it apart from earlier margarine products that were often criticized for being waxy and artificial in flavor. Chiffon margarine's claim to fame was its ability to mimic the creaminess and taste of real butter, making it an attractive choice for cooking, baking, and spreading. What made chiffon particularly notable was its widespread advertising campaign, which featured the memorable tagline, "It's not nice to fool Mother Nature." In these commercials, Mother Nature would taste chiffon and mistake it for butter. When told she had actually been eating margarine, she would angrily unleash her wrath, illustrating the idea that chiffon was so close to butter in taste, it could even fool nature itself. These ads resonated with the public and helped solidify chiffon's place in households across America. Chiffon margarine, like many margarines of its time, was made using vegetable oils, which were seen as healthier compared to the saturated fats found in butter. In the mid-20th century, the public was increasingly aware of the links between saturated fats and heart disease, and margarine was promoted as a heart-healthy alternative. Chiffon capitalized on this trend, with its light and airy texture aligning with the growing health-conscious market. However, as the years went on, margarine faced scrutiny for containing trans fats, which were later found to be harmful. This shift in public perception, combined with the resurgence of butter in the 1980s as a natural, flavorful option, led to a decline in margarine's popularity. Chiffon margarine, despite its earlier success, was eventually overshadowed by newer margarine products that reformulated to eliminate trans fats. While chiffon is no longer a major player in today's grocery stores, it remains a symbol of the margarine boom and a nostalgic reminder of 1970s food marketing.